Hello and welcome to College Chronicles at WNTE. I'm Vanessa at Commonwealth University Mansfield. Digital technologies and social media is all around us. We have 24/7 access to all the information in the world right at our fingertips. Today, I'd like to discuss the impact of technology and social media on college students. And to help me with that, we have some special guests today. Ashley Davenport is our first interviewee. She is a recent graduate of Kutztown University. So thank you so much for joining me today, Ashley. To start off, what technology do you think that you used on a daily basis when it comes to school?
Mostly when I was at Kutztown, I used my laptop. I would use the computers that they had at the schools. I would use a printer. I would use my own phone, maybe like a digital calculator, but those were like the extent of the things that I used.
On that same sort of note, what kinds of social media was the most useful for your college journey?
I feel like the most helpful social media was YouTube because I could watch, if I was like doing math, if I was in like algebra class, I could look up videos of how to do a certain problem or something for clarification. Same thing for like chemistry. My second one would probably be LinkedIn because that's like a networking one. So that was also helpful to be able to use during college as well.
Now, what kinds of digital technology or social media would you like to see implemented into the classroom in the future?
I feel like as a marketing major and someone who really enjoys like graphic design and advertising, I feel like it would have been beneficial for us to go over Adobe in our class because that is like a bulk of what digital marketing uses these days. I kind of wish that we had implemented that more. However, I do know it is very expensive to get. So I like understand that aspect of it. So that's like the first one that comes to mind. Also like Canva, I feel like could have been used a lot more.
Adobe Audition is what we're using in this class to edit the podcast. So it's been interesting learning how to use that.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you think that the use of social media has made a positive impact on your school?
I would say no. I would say that social media is super addicting and distracting. So when I was doing my homework or classwork or things, it was so tempting to look at my phone, watch TikTok, get on Snapchat, like look at Instagram. So I feel like for the most part, it had a negative impact on my college career because I couldn't focus. It was not very good.
Well, that is all I have. So thank you so much for joining me today, Ashley. It's been a pleasure to have you on College Chronicles. Our next interviewee is Alyssa Ross, and she is doing a pre-nursing program through Penn Tech. First question for today. How did COVID change the way technology was used in the classroom?
So I was in nursing school during COVID, and we went from having classes Monday through Friday in the classroom, and we switched to a Zoom platform. And all the classes were through Zoom, and both of the instructors I had were not as technology savvy, so it was always, we like to say that the one nursing instructor turned into Darth Vader, because it would be the way that it would sound, so that was implemented. And even nursing clinicals were done through an online source. Which I'm not quite sure how that worked.
That must have been interesting because it's a very hands-on
It is.
thing.
It is. I'm not quite sure how you can take care of a patient through a computer screen.
That is very odd. I had to do it when I was doing a class. We had to do an online autopsy for forensic science, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
So what kinds of digital technology or social media would you like to see implemented into the classroom?
Maybe better, I like Brightspace, so maybe even having it for people, because I have ADHD, like a diagnosis of ADHD, and sometimes I think there needs to be more precise, like, dates due on things. So maybe having a planner that can be implemented into, like, a planner that gives you notifications and reminders, like, a couple days beforehand that's integrated into the system.
I know there is an app for kind of Brightspace. It's called Pulse, but it's not great.
No, I have it on my phone too. It's not great.
Tried using it.
Not great. No.
Now, if you could change one thing about how digital technology is used at your school, what would it be?
I would honestly say that maybe implementing it more into the hard science classes, because I found that I had to take those ones still in person because of the labs and stuff. So I would think like being able to further implement them into like technology somehow, like virtually, like I know a virtual autopsy or virtual labs would be really hard versus hands-on experience, but maybe somehow learning to combine those so it's more doable for distance learners.
Right. That would definitely be something that would be a positive impact. So that is all I have. Thank you for joining me
Yeah,
today.
thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. I'm here with Mackenzie Milleron, and she is a current student at Commonwealth University Mansfield, majoring in MedLab Science. What technology do you use on a daily basis when it comes to school?
When it comes to school, it's mainly like my laptop for like the online quizzes and stuff, or going over like the study guide questions. But like for classes, it's my iPad, so I can get better notes faster.
I also use an iPad for notes. It's a lot easier than writing them down all the time.
Yeah.
So. Now, how did COVID change the way technology was used in the classroom?
I feel like they're using a whole lot more online stuff now than they were, say, like 10 years ago.
Definitely. They wanted to try and keep the germ circulation down, and then it just kind of stayed that way. So now it's honestly a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to deal with notebooks, and it's just basically your iPad, computer. That's basically what you need for college nowadays. Now, what kinds of digital technology or social media would you like to see implemented into the classroom?
Depends on the classroom, honestly. Like, so with our biology classes, they'd use stuff like, what was it called? They'd have like these apps where like you'd log in, and they'd have like different questions throughout the lecture to make sure that you were able to follow along and get all the information you needed. Like stuff like that helps a lot, but like if they could use like Quizlet, Kahoot.
Oh
stuff
yes,
like that.
definitely.
Oh, I love that stuff.
I took a psychology class last semester, and the professor every time we were about to take a quiz, she would always do a Kahoot game with us, and it was only maybe 3 of us from the class that actually participated. So it was a lot of fun, even with that few amount of people.
Yeah.
Well, that is all I have today. So thank you so much for joining me today, Mackenzie, and thank you for joining us on College Chronicles. In conclusion, we can see that digital technology and social media impacts each student differently. Through this, we can see how these different experiences end up shaping our unique college journeys, which will hopefully give us something to share in the future. So until next time, this is Vanessa from College Chronicles signing off.